Hello and welcome back to Music Videos on the Radio. It's a me, Alex, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Hello, I'm Giovanni.
Smooth.
Yeah,
Uh, Today we are talking about Penny Lane by the Beatles, Starstruck by that other band, Something by the Beatles again, and then Communication Breakdown by Led Zepp. So,
yeah,
oh, I imagine we're starting off with Penny Lane. That seems the natural spot for me.
yeah. Well, you did mention them first.
Yep.
Um,
That order was intentful.
okay, so yeah, the Beatles, Penny Lane. What do you say, Alex? Is this another one of those music videos that makes you think the song is pointless?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct. Uh, can we end the podcast here, or do we need to keep going?
Well, I suppose you don't need to repeat yourself again because I imagine it'll just be the same as the past episodes.
Yeah, let me just give a quick. This is my interpretation of the video. A British pedestrian daydreams about riding out into a damp field with an imaginary band and having imaginary tea, or a musician daydreams about walking around and living an ordinary life.
Huh.
As in, I
I'm not
dreamt
sure.
I
I'm
was
not
a
sure how
butterfly.
ordinary they can be when they've got so much drip, which is, I believe, the vernacular of our youth.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what they were using back in the day too.
Yeah, uh, as you see, John Lennon does take off his trademark glasses, and he replaces them with some sweet shades. Um,
Do you have a timestamp that we should? Oh yes. Oh, of course. How could I forget? I
yeah,
don't need a. I don't
let's
need
get like
a.
20 seconds in.
That immediately comes back to mind. Yeah. Is this what psychedelic music, or not just like psychedelic pop music videos are? It's just gonna be us saying, "Wow, look at that frame. That looks out there."
I don't know. I'm gonna call you a hypocrite though, because
Okay.
last episode you said that Jump was good because the song's about jumping, and 60% of the video is them jumping. And in this one, the song's about Penny Lane, and 60% of the video is shots of buses driving up and down Penny Lane.
That's true. Don't call John Lennon a bus, all right? But yeah, that is true. Uh, Difference is that jump is actually jumping is actually something that entertains me, and shots of a bus don't. That's the major difference.
So you're just an adrenaline junkie is the difference.
Yes, this is a very boring video.
Okay.
This has no adrenaline, and I think I may have been injecting too much intellectualizing into my description of the video. I'm not sure if you saw it as a I dreamt I was a butterfly type
Uh,
schlongzy type situation.
no, I just saw it as the Beatles are getting ready for their show, and the one of them's just reminiscing about his time growing up in Penny Lane.
Okay, but where's their show? Out in the field?
Yeah, one of
That's where
those
they held.
field
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Of
actually,
course.
the strangest part, I don't know if you saw this, is when they're all drinking tea, there's footage projected onto John Lennon's forehead.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't,
It's because he's thinking, how do we show without any audio that he's thinking of Penny Lane? Just project Penny Lane onto his forehead, where the
yeah,
thoughts
but
are coming from.
it's not like the um like they didn't overlay the image with editing. With did we find out what it's called when you dissolve but you
No,
don't
no,
dissolve into something else?
no,
No.
no, we didn't do that. No, we didn't.
Okay, well it's that technique. They could have used that anyways, but they didn't.
Uh,
They just projected it onto his face.
okay, that's
Um,
cool. Do you know why they don't know how to play their instruments? If this is apparently your, see, this is, you know how you can tell if you're dreaming or not. If your dream person can't do something you would ordinarily be able to do, then that's how you gain information about whether you're dreaming or not, right? Like if you're a doctor and you don't know how to do heart surgery, that's probably because you're someone who's not a doctor dreaming you were a doctor.
or you're a doctor who's having a nightmare where you can't do do surgery. I mean, that's straight out of
Either way, you're in
Bergman.
a dream.
That's straight out of Bergman, Alex. Come on, that's high art.
Thank you. Well, I came up with that, not the Beatles. Um, well, I think maybe they're dabbling into it because that's what I thought when they go to do their show out in the damp field. They're kind of they're given their instruments, and Paul especially seems unable to grasp what he's supposed to do with his bass guitar.
And
So
that's when they flip over the table.
yes, because
Yeah.
they realize this is a dream and none of it matters. They're actually someone who doesn't know how to play instruments, uh, daydreaming that they are someone who can. But
So
who cares? Who
yeah,
cares?
I,
It's
I
the
think
most. Yeah.
I think part of this is disjointed, um, but it does. I mean, it does. It is related to the song, and that and the song is about reminiscing about your childhood in Penny Lane, and it's showing the sights of Penny Lane,
Yeah.
in a kind of nostalgic way. And there's some nice things, like when they cut to the trumpet solo,
Hmm.
the they cut to the horse right away, so, and it looks like the horse is marching to the trumpet,
Yeah.
which is at like a minute and 12 seconds.
Yeah. That'll be on the screen for everyone else. This is purely just for us, I suppose. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
actually thought those small red children is actually, let me clarify, they're not red children, and I don't support racial stereotyping, but
Okay.
those those children in red, it's it's zoomed in to the point that they kind of look for a brief second like they could be like adult height because they're the only humans in the shot. And I thought maybe they're trying to make that look like the Beatles, who are also wearing red. Does anyone care?
Where is the what's the timestamp for the
This is
children?
this is 112 again. This is 112,
112 again. All
like
right.
just after. But let me, while you're looking at that, let me just, I'll just say my piece, I guess. Uh, this is kind of a, it's a song reminiscing about Penny Lane. Okay, that's fine. But it's not a very emotional reminiscing. It is just really a recounting of things that happened in Penny Lane with a pretty neutral, objective description.
Well, I don't know
And
about objective, but certainly neutral.
you're right. He does say very strange about a couple of things. So, I mean, that's, I would say that's value neutral, but maybe not. Maybe that's his subjective evaluation that it's strange. But either way, when you create that tone of neutral reminiscing in a music video, what you get is a music video that is effectively stock footage of Penny Lane. And
Uh,
then they go to the country to just do a worse or like to this field to just do a worse version of Strawberry Fields Forever.
okay.
It's this is if you took Strawberry Fields and you lowered it to uh Hello Goodbye, like that level. I mean, it's not bad in the same ways, but it is equally bland. Although bland for different reasons. At
Like
least
the
they
video or the song? Which are you talking about?
the video. At least they went on location for this, but like the color palette is gray. How did they make it
Yes.
so gray?
Yes, that is actually something unfortunate because they talk about the blue suburban sky and then it's gray. Um,
Well, it's
so
England. They can't just make it not be overcast.
so yeah, that's well, that's a problem because when it's an idealized childhood remembrance, blue suburban skies, things like that, and then it's just gray, like come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
so
yeah, I'm gonna have to deduct points for that unless it's supposed to be like I suppose they could just be about the difference between the what it how it actually is and the remembering of it. Although that might be projecting more intelligence onto it than it actually has. Um,
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Uh yeah. I mean there's no reaction from John Lennon's character that would suggest that he's being disillusioned anyway. It's just right. Like
Well,
there's
except when he flips over the table with rage after
but yeah.
having the image projected onto his face, and he remembers this isn't how it is. There
Yeah.
you go.
I guess when there's just enough random stuff happening, like the clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of why I just don't find looking for symbolism as the most satisfying way of doing analysis in general, because you can always find symbolism. That's what people do. They look for symbols. Um,
Yeah. Oh geez, that was actually. I don't mean to sound condescending, but that was actually well put, Giovanni. Pat
wow,
yourself
thank you.
pat yourself on the back for that one.
Um,
Uh, although Bergman probably came up with that or something. I'm not gonna give you credit.
yeah, this is just a Bergman film set in the
In the
well,
Beatles land,
in
in
England. It would be
Beatlemania.
contemporary to him also.
Okay.
He
Uh,
was doing stuff in, this came out around 66, right? That's when he released his magnum opus, Persona. Um, yeah.
before this, before this gets into the Bergman podcast, what are you rating this? I'm gonna
What am I
remind you that you rated A Day in the Life 3 and Hello Goodbye 3, and I rated both of those ones.
yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking that this one might also be a 3 because, just like for the reason you gave Jump a 3, and I think this is but I give Jump a 2, and this is probably about as related as Jump. So I will give this one a 2 also.
Okay. I'm thinking how I'm not gonna give this a 1. Uh,
Well, there's things
Hello,
like I like the horse. I do like the horse dancing to the trumpet. There you go. That's something.
dancing is a little bit of a stretch.
Marching to the trumpet. Actually, go back and watch it.
It,
It is actually of like a surprisingly similar tempo.
I'm just thinking about it this way. What Hello Goodbye? So why is this worse than Hello Goodbye?
Why is this worse than Hello Goodbye?
Yeah, because you
Um,
you rated the Hello Goodbye a 3 and this one a 2.
I think it is more disjointed because actually no, I am going to give this one a 3 because it is like yeah, just a like that he walks along and I'm not sure. The reason why I'm torn is because he does walk along and remember things, and the song is about remembering things. But it is,
Wow.
yeah, there you go. That's ingenious stuff happening right there.
Yeah, and you can
Uh,
tell that he's remembering it because it's being projected onto his face.
but yeah, things like the guys come in dressed up as classical composers with the nose glasses again, and that's kind of
Hmm.
like yeah, it is just stuff that they threw in there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of disappointing. It doesn't. I The reason I'm kind of wavering is because watching this with the video doesn't significantly or even like at all reduce the experience for me, but I don't think it really adds anything either. So it's kind of on the fine line of neutral.
Okay.
So I think I
That's
will
fair.
stick with a 2
Okay.
then.
Um, from my perspective, it's just cripplingly boring, but uh, I think their outside aesthetic, even though it's grayscaled for some reason, is uh with the changing locations and the editing and all that, it's definitely a step ahead um of Hello Goodbye. So I'm going to actually give this one a 2, whereas I gave the other one a 1. So
All
we
right.
agree, but not relatively. You think this is the worst of the Beatles' recent ones that we've done, and I think it's the
No, I
best.
gave in the last episode I gave um one of them a
Goodbye, you gave a 3, and A Day in
oh yeah,
Life
the one
3.
before was the dull one, right?
Yeah.
The last episode was the jumping episode. The one before was the boring sitting episode, and
Ye-
I gave Help a 1.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I phrased that terribly. We're gonna move on. Uh,
Anyways,
Next
yeah,
one, I guess, is geez, do you like grayscale? This one should literally be grayscale. Um, but if
this
you
is
like grayscale walking around in fields and parks, boy, The
Yeah,
Kinks have got you hooked up.
the Kinks Starstruck, huh?
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
well, I guess for starters, the only way that we could find this was on Facebook and colorized. And
Yes.
because the so which means the original footage was in black and white, so you did not actually watch the proper footage. And
No.
it's hard to say how well composed an image is when it has been ruined with crayons. Um,
Um,
but
yeah.
there's not much at all going on in that video. That is another one of them just another one of those where they just perform the song. Like they're just singing it into the camera in between them walking around. They do he shakes his butt a bit and they do some dancing.
Yep.
Uh,
Uh, that's pretty much the extent of it. The point I'm gonna make here though is that the sheer presence of him pretending to sing the song makes it better than the Penny Lane video.
that's it.
Just I have nothing to really latch onto in Penny Lane, but being a fan of their music, as I would be because I'm watching the video, I gain some kind of enjoyment out of at least pretending to watch someone actually sing the song because that's what I'm interested in is the song and not like a literalization of it like in Penny Lane where you just see Penny Lane. I'm interested also in the performance of it and the emotional, the human aspects. And Ray Davies' big smirking grin with that like wormhole in his face. Um, that's a weird way of describing the massive gap in his teeth he has. Um, well, it's not really the emotion. The motion isn't quite landing. Just the seeing a human perform it is enough for me. What do you say to that?
Um, I say if there's anything good about this, it's when he shakes his butt. Um, at a minute and like 19 seconds. No, a bit before that. A minute and yeah, 16. Oh yeah, he
Nice.
does the
Okay.
thug shaker. Um, but
Is
anyway,
that is that is that well? Yeah, that's well. The watermark of colored by coloring the past is up
yeah,
there.
is
Is
adding a
he really
blemish
picked
to the
he picked the he picked the he picked the optimal time to improve his own brand.
uh yeah,
Thanks, Paul.
this is yeah, I think in the name of consistency for all the ones actually yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 2 because it is just like not really much different from the monkeys doing their own or when when the animals did or the
But at least that was had an interesting blocking. The animals were moving around. This is just like they're just walking around in the park.
so yeah, so I think this one is worse than those,
Okay.
but not hugely worse, I guess.
Well, I won't argue. I'm gonna give it a 2 also.
Yeah. Funny, we went through this video without even mentioning anything about the song because it has pretty much no relation. So maybe in that regard it is a 1, but it's not like
Uh,
it detracts really from the song. Except that
yeah.
if you watch this Facebook video, it is in such low quality that the sound is
Well, just because it's lost to time, doesn't mean that we should penalize it for that.
yeah. Yeah, if you could find this not colorized and in high fidelity, it would not be a complete waste of time to watch it. That is
Nice.
my ringing endorsement of this.
Okay. Question. Do you want to move on? I think this actually segues into communication breakdown better than something. Because I'm not sure if you see what I'm going with here, but we're ramping up the performative aspect.
Yeah, they do perform in communication breakdown. Um, this was a quote that was pasted all over the YouTube video for for the promo film, and so it must be true because a lot of people said it.
Yeah.
They said, quote from Jimmy Page: "The band ethic during the promo for the first album was to play live on TV and mime on radio. At this Swedish TV show, they wouldn't let us play. We had to mime. I think the level of sarcasm shows through. Robert
Freaking
Plant was
sweet.
brilliant on this one." End quote.
And that is a YouTube commenter.
Yeah,
Nice.
a few
Uh,
YouTube commenters quoted that
okay.
exact thing. So I think it's
Oh,
true.
okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. If multiple YouTube commenters can
Well,
agree
I
on it,
mean,
then it.
is
I mean,
this
they
not what
can't.
Hume said? The more people who recognize something, the more likely it is for it to have been the
Hume,
case.
Aristotle, Barack Obama, they've everyone's come to this fantastic truth of the human condition. And as we've seen, YouTube can't even decide whether or not Morrissey's racist. So the fact that they can just clearly decide on this is
Uh,
another ringing endorsement. So after all that, you're telling me this music video was mimed.
yeah, this
Excellent. Okay, so after all that, it does qualify for our own podcast.
yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
So so I guess what do you think about it? What do you think about it?
um, this is another one where the quality of the video being so low, being in 240p, makes it hard for me to be entirely certain. Um, the I'm not sure how good it is though, because it seems more like they really didn't want to be doing it this way, and so they're specifically doing it to piss off the people who made them do it this way. They're specifically doing like a silly job of it, and so it's it's interesting in that it adds a different context to the song, which the past few videos have not done, but this actually does recontextualize the song because I mean, Communication Breakdown, one of Led Zeppelin's big hits, right?
Yep.
They, I think it says they played it every show or something.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, one of their big hits, something they're famous for. So you'd expect how many ways can they do this song that everyone wants to hear? Like probably they want to hear them do it the same way because it's the way they like it. And
Yep.
here is a different way of seeing it. One where that's got
One
added.
where yeah, one where Jimmy Page misses the chord on the opening, like the opening chord of the song. Like he's just not playing when the song starts. It's a unique take.
Yeah.
For your
Um,
timestamp fellows out there, that's at 1 second.
1 second. Wow.
At 1 second, and it's already gone wrong.
Um, but uh, but yeah. Um, a lot of exaggerated everything. Um, especially from Robert Plant. Um, where he's like grabbing his face and with mock anguish and things like that, which
He's
is
also yeah.
I suppose that's amusing in its
Wow.
own way.
I mean, he's doing so much head shaking that his face is in front of the microphone for about 5% of the
Yeah,
video. Um, I actually struggled to find this that ridiculous because Led Zeppelin would become the poster child of ridiculous rock and roll shenanigans.
yeah,
I'm not sure. Robert Plant continued to do googly eyes and like into the camera and that sort of stuff, but it is just par for the course for a lot of lesser rock bands.
yeah. Well, yeah, Led Zeppelin is kind of like the definitive rock band in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Um, complete with their lyrics being so vacuous, uh, just about sex nearly all the time. But that's not really. There's no sex in the video though, so rest assured, uh,
this one is not
worried
getting a
viewers.
5.
Yeah, this one should have had more naked women. If they had naked women hula dancing around them as they were being ridiculous, now that would be a good video.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then if you want to do it the Beatles style, maybe they could try to talk and then they wouldn't. Like no sound would come out, and that would be a double entendre because A, it's a mime performance, so they can't actually make sound over the video. And B, it's a communication breakdown because they can't communicate.
Yeah, that would have been.
Nice.
You're right. That would have been really clever.
That would have been 5 out of 5, but I didn't direct this, so I think it's just gonna get from me. I will say I think the camera work is pretty good. Um, there's a lot
Yeah.
of up close things, on nice up close shots on the bass and that sort of stuff. There's a nice point where uh, Robert Plant is singing. He holds a note. He kind of steps out of the way, and uh, I guess it doesn't dolly in. It doesn't pan in. It doesn't zoom in. The cameraman just walks forward with the camera into um, what's his name, John Bonham's face as he does a cool little drum fill. I thought, hey,
y-
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out. The He holds up his drumstick and twirls it around
Yeah,
in the air.
nice,
Now
nice.
that's some Ringo should have taken lessons from that.
It is kind of incredible that that these are contemporaries. And I was going to say that the 240p and the grainy black and white kind of makes this even more impressive in my mind. Because I'm not sure I want to say Led Zeppelin is timeless, but when the song starts, if I asked you what, or maybe not you, and maybe not any fan of Led Zeppelin, but like if I ask most people when to listen to this song and guess it when it came out, I don't think 1969 with 240p black and white videos would be the answer. So
Y
you kind of get this
I was thinking
grainy
this
shot.
like it could have been like a grunge music video in a lot of ways. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but um, yeah, one of the things that I was kind of wondering about is it's as they're obviously like being ridiculous as the YouTubers have quoted proof of them saying.
yeah.
Uh, but how did they? It seems like they got the cameraman to go along with them because he is fully indulging in their uh all their strange mannerisms and things like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's getting like high shots like up from on high on Robert Plant at like 39 seconds or something, which I mean, I don't think they got a crane in for this. He's probably just holding it up in the air to get that epic shot. Um, yeah.
So yeah, so I guess my reservations are just the video so low resolution. If you could find this in uh higher resolution, this would be worthwhile to watch.
Well, I want to say that there is something that's going to be detracting from even high resolution, and that is that they seem to have given away their lighting structures and their what do you call the gaffer? They recommended this gaffer's service to Van Halen because they both of those videos have the lights from on high right behind the heads of the people that you're trying to film.
Yeah.
So uh, Robert Plant's excellent shag is also accompanied by like a constant halo effect. Um, so yeah, I think that would detract in any number of P's.
Yeah, that is true. So that and things like that is why I don't think this is a great video,
No,
but it's probably a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it a 3-2, and I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to make a bigger point about all of this, but I wanted to say that if you're gonna just have like a flat literalization of something, don't literalize the contents of the song, like the lyrical contents. Just literalize like the performance. Just like do the performance basically. And I didn't really have an argument for that, but I would rank these videos as Penny Lane, then Starstruck, then even better is Communication Breakdown. And it just seems as they do more miming, the better it gets. That's
Um,
now changed my mind. That's all I can say.
Change your it seems kind of hard to change your mind when you've just stated, "This is how I feel about this." Um,
Well,
I
I've given
believe you
you
that that's how you feel,
I've
Alex.
given you a very impressive trend from a sample size of 3, and
Well, I just think that the Kinks video is worse than Penny Lane.
okay, I guess that's fair. I mean, if they had, like, twice the budget and could afford twice the location shots as a result, maybe it would be better. I guess called Starstruck, if they were filming this in, like, New York City,
Yeah.
maybe that would work, or Los Angeles, as Ray Davies would say. Um, do you wanna move on to something then? Something else?
I, yeah, I this is probably gonna be a short episode because, yeah, again, I don't these videos, I don't think there is and they're all for songs that are quite short. Um, no 4-minute long well, 4 minutes isn't that long either, but Jump was 4 minutes long, which was which was a minute and a half longer than this anyways.
Well, you need room for the keyboard solo and the guitar solo, and they can't
Yeah.
cramp each other. Let me I can lengthen out this discussion fairly easily. So,
I don't know if we need to though.
you know what? You're gonna wanna think this one out.
Okay.
So this video, something by the Beatles, uh, basically it's more walking in fields. The Brits just love walking in fields. They can't stop doing it. No
Well,
wonder
what
they
else
had
is
all these
there
problems with like highway robbers and all that. Like it's so easy. They just go into fields and walk. Um, yeah. What else is there to do? Good question. Uh,
so so anyways, let's move on to something though.
so this is I'm gonna give you something here, Giovanni.
Yeah?
In this video, the four lads walk around with I believe the Brits would call them wags, affectionately,
Not
with their
lasses?
no wags for wives and girlfriends,
Yeah.
plural. Um, and so my question is, all four couples displayed here, do they each display a different Magic the Gathering color?
They each
You
display a different
let me get the ball rolling, because John and Yoko look like they're going to go disturb some graves,
That is true.
and that's putting it lightly,
Um,
if
um,
not desecrate some graves.
I don't think I think the rest of them would be like white weenies creatures because they're just they're just so normal looking.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me push you on that one too. Paul is wearing an entire sheep in his coat. Not to mention the vibrant green field that he's in front of. Everyone else gets a drab British field, but he has a vibrant green
Okay,
field.
maybe he'd be a white green creature then.
Yes, yeah. And Linda McCartney looks like a man in this video. So that's also the kind of grizzly folks that would be green. Um, and lastly, I'm not sure. Would you consider Jesus Christ to be weenie level of power? Because because
Jesus
uh,
Christ would be a bear in Magic the Gathering. It would be 2 mana, 2/2, Jesus Christo, and,
well, what you're describing right now is George Harrison, because he has fully ascended in this video. Uh, he must have taken years from his spouse, because she looks like she's about 12, and he would be at the time of this video, I don't know, 1968 plus a few years. So
uh,
no,
well, yeah, Jesus was
yes,
born in the year
exactly.
4
Wait,
BC. I don't know if you know that.
really 4?
Yeah, 4 BC.
Okay, well, thanks for straightening out just how old George Harrison is in this video. Uh, so anyway, that's my claim that they're all. Uh, and if I wanted to really push it, Ringo's got like some kind of button-up vest, so he's the landed aristocrat. Um, and if he's smoking a cigarette, which is kind of high technology, so he might be blue white, like blue white. I would go so far
Maybe?
as to claim
I don't
that.
know. What about you know the creature, Leovold? Um,
Uh, I guarantee you, if I don't, you're the only one who's going to hear this podcast who knows Leovold.
Okay. Anyways, I'll send you an image right now. You tell me, do you think this looks like any of the Beatles in this
Okay,
video or
and
just
I
in
guess
any
we'll
of their
we'll put
other
this up on the screen for everyone else.
yeah,
I'm
this
surprised.
you'll be seeing Leopold Emissary of Trest here.
Oh yes. Oh, of course. If you just described emissary or trust, yeah, that's definitely, and he's got Ringo's ears too. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, because this is
That's
actually not a white creature. This is a bug-colored creature.
yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, see, this is exactly what I was trying to say. So really, they have all but red. Which is I think prudent because this is not an angry video. As we return to the video,
Yeah, and
having successfully added an extra 5 minutes to our discussion.
yeah, a scintillating Magic the Gathering discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you know what? Ringo could be colorless. I'm gonna throw that on there too. If there's a possibility that that he's a mud
he's just
creature.
he honestly, if you look at like Karn in the energy flux
Wait, that's
artwork,
not tuning in. You're doing it again, Giovanni. Yeah, card in the energy flex.
yeah,
I guess I'm looking this up on air here.
yeah. Or I could send you the image.
Wait, first of all, how do you have encyclopedic knowledge of who looks like what in what card? And also this, I guess he has his last there, kind of like Ringo does. That's fair.
It's just he's making the same kind
And
of frown a
he's
lot of the
he's
time.
making the same kind of frown, and Karn's last does look like Ringo's. Um, so yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is where energy flux artist, whatever his name is, Kui Defu, got his inspiration. So, with that being said, I've undoubtedly added at least 1 or 2 out of 5 to your rating of something.
Well,
Um,
I actually like this music video to begin with.
okay, that's good. I do
Um,
too.
and I will say why. So the song "Something" is, I think, a great song. Um,
Yep.
the the uh, Abbey Lane is probably my favorite Beatles album. Um,
Abbey Road, but
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. There you go. I know
Go
what I'm
on, go
talking
on,
about.
preach, preach.
I know what I'm talking about here. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, it's probably my favorite Beatles album. And I think George Harrison's songs on each of the Beatles albums are generally among the best.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
wh- which
yeah,
is, I think, what happens when you're just as talented as your two other bandmates, and they just won't let you put more than one or two songs on every album.
yeah. Or
Um,
or alternatively, when you're the one without beef, uh, maybe clouding your vision.
oh, he had beef.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I thought Jesus would not have beef, but
No, you need to watch the documentary. When they were recording Let It Be, he actually like left halfway through. He's like, I quit the band. And then
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they were too pissed off at him to go and get him back for a while, and then they had to.
I do recall that. I didn't know if that was, well, Abbey Road is just like right before. I think it just goes the White Album then Let It Be, I think.
Well,
Uh
they recorded, well, this is also something interesting. They recorded Abbey Road after Let It Be. But they
okay.
released it first because they were still because well, obviously Let It Be, there was a lot of disagreement on how to produce it, and that is why um, Paul McCartney later produced Let It Be Naked, which has different production for the same
Mm.
songs.
Well, jeez, that sounds like a command that George would give.
But anyways, so yeah, so but the song is a well, it's a love song, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
and can I interject here? And I'll throw the question out there and you can continue if you want to. But is this just better music video material? It's more emotional than just recounting a childhood memory. That's what I think. Go ahead and
well, I'm not sure if I don't know if love is inherently more emotional than recounting childhood memories. It probably is in most instances, but I don't think that's what makes it better. I mean,
okay.
like the songwriting on this song is just better than on Penny Lane. Um,
Okay.
but
Easy,
as
easy statement. Once you just decree that, it's not too far off to just saying it's a better video.
but
Yeah.
uh but yeah, so I'm not sure if my enjoyment of the how much my enjoyment of the video is actually bolstered by the song. Um, but the
Uh,
which I think it might be at least a little bit, but I do think the video is still does still add something because it is nice to see like them being genuinely happy with their romantic partners while it's a love song. And
yeah.
and you've got some nice things like there's of course when it cuts through all the female spouses and then at the end cuts to uh John as he smiles and it looks like very kooky and it's the only time he smiles ever in any Beatles video.
Huh.
Um,
I mean, you almost implied that it ends with him smiling, but let's
no,
not
no, no.
mistake ourselves. Of course, it ends as it should, and unfortunately, Penny Lane had way too little of this. But it ends with George mugging the camera as he does,
As he does
as he does.
again.
Yeah, as it. I mean, that's really the whole video, so I can't really single out George, but it's prudent that it ended on him. Um, what
Yeah.
here's what I'll say. I actually like Penny Lane more than I like something. So, what I was trying to say with is something better music video material is that, I think we were saying earlier, Penny Lane is a relatively emotionally neutral song. It's not like a bittersweet remembering of the past. It's not like a regretful thinking of the past. It's not even a hopeful like thinking of the past and the future will come to be like it or anything like that. It is just, here are some memories I have, and I'm just gonna put it into a song. And I think it's actually very catchy, probably one of their best songs, I think. But what
Well,
something
I mean, I
does,
think it's a very good song.
yes,
Don't get me wrong.
yeah, no, 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 of course. But what I think something does is it doesn't just synergize, and there must be a less game developy way of talking about that. Um,
No, go full on gamer. Talk about
yeah.
they spawn camped. They
Well, I mean, I'll throw in a non-bow. There are definitely some non-bows in some of these videos that we've talked about. But what I was going to say is that not only does the like content synergize with the video, like, oh, he's talking about Penny Lane and we're seeing Penny Lane, but also, I mean, it feels like it shouldn't be something I would need to persuade anyone when I say when a song is more emotional, like when a song is emotional compared to not emotional, the filmmaking has a higher ceiling. Like it has greater potential because you can synergize on an emotional level rather than just on a like objective descriptive level, right? And
um yeah, I suppose.
and so like when when it cuts to the bridge with John questioning if his love will grow, he doesn't know. The rather like static and grounded shots cut away to this low angle of him riding a bike. I don't know how they filmed that, but it's very like jarring, and because it's from a low angle and he's turning around, feels like he's being all tipsy, as John at that point in the song is questioning himself. And then when he says the line again in a more soaring way, the camera picks up, Ringo smiles, he speeds away. So it's like it kind of captures that hopefulness of that soaring vocal in, I think, a really great way. That's probably honestly saved in editing because I don't think they're like, okay, now feel more uh like vibrant for this bike riding moment. Um, so not that I want to, yeah,
Yeah.
lay blame and praise to exactly, but I just think that sort of moment that's a part of the video that I really like, and that kind of emotional resonance, I'll say, rather than synergy, is something that you can't have in Penny Lane, or just isn't in Penny Lane?
Hmm. Um, well, I think the one thing I need to say is that it is George Harrison singing in the song.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
No. Okay, here's what I'll do. Ready? George, 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 George Harrison, and we'll just go back and we'll dub that in.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that'll be fine.
I
Are
think I'm
you
just gonna
sure?
leave this as is, just like this.
Are you sure? This does he also sings While My Guitar Gently Weeps, right? Or did he just write that one?
Well, all the ones that he writes, he sings.
Ah, you're kidding. Why does he sound so much like John in this? Oh my goodness. Okay, well,
Yeah, John Lennon
I,
actually contributes no vocals to this song whatsoever. Paul McCartney does backing vocals, and
okay, well, you know what? Judge me not by my shortcomings in Beatles trivia, but by my analysis of this video. That's what I say.
okay. And I have to say, your shortcomings in Beatle trivia distracted me from your point, but I'm sure it was wonderful.
You
Uh,
can't be serious. Listen,
uh,
I just interjected so easily when you were like, yeah, you know, Abby, Penny Abbey or whatever you said, Abbey Lane. I was like, just quick correction. You're just like, yeah, I'll let Alex go on, and now blank out on the rest of what he said. Well, I'll have you know, I beautifully described the bridge to this song and how it is transformed in the video, capturing both the uncertainty and the soaring hopefulness purely with low angle shots of Ringo riding a bike.
yeah,
And that is
I did
why
get that, and that I agree with.
that's really all I was saying.
Um,
And the emotionality of the song lets it have that level of resonance with the video, an emotional resonance. That's all I'll say. Mic drop.
mic drop. All right. I concur. The song is pretty emotional. It does go through um like it, how do I say it? Yeah, when the bridge comes in, it is like a sudden change in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
so it is very nice. And there's all sorts of little things like the little guitar hooks played throughout. Um
Yeah, I didn't listen to this song, I'll be honest.
uh uh um yeah, I'm not sure what else is there to say about it.
Well,
I
I'll
think
say this. Yeah.
my only problem is that maybe they should be smiling more throughout the whole thing. Um
Yeah.
because they're like they're what was your phrase, wags uh
Wags, yeah.
smile at them quite a bit, and there's a lot of frowning
There's a
back.
lot, yeah, exactly. A lot of they're smiling and looking up, and then there's a lot of panning up and over to like just yeah, a stern frown like looking down. It is that's weird. Overall, smiling levels I think don't need to be raised too much, or else it might feel a little saccharine.
Yeah.
Um, you can only like if the pitch is basically just like we're gonna have these partners looking into each other's eyes and frolicking in fields. That sounds worrying for your love song. But they pull it off, I think, by this weird combination of I would just call it like a realism, sort of, right? It's
I
not very performative.
Yeah, perhaps naturalism. Um,
Yeah, I'll let that one slide. I'm gonna give it a 4. What are you giving it?
I think I will also give it a 4.
Excellent.
The only other thing that I'm wavering about is the way they cut from all the headshots. Sometimes it feels very deliberate, like when they just cut from the one partner to the other, and sometimes it feels like there's not really that much of an order to it, and that's kind of disappointing. So if there is maybe a bit more smiling and some of the headshot cutting was a bit uh bit more focused, which let me see if I can find where that was that I was thinking of. Um,
I mean, while
yeah,
you're looking,
it's
yeah,
at actually
find the frame.
at yeah, so at like after it, so at like 52 seconds, it um it cuts from Linda McCartney to rather than to a shot of Paul, it's them standing next to each other, which kind of breaks up the pattern of cutting from the one to the other.
Yeah,
So if not for that, I think it would be if not for that
just that
and
that one editing blunder, and it's over. It's like jump around. Just they showed that guy getting beaten after the line about police brutality.
yeah, that was
That's
that was
just dumb.
bad. Anyways, that and the smiling.
Yeah, I think if, for me, I think there's only so much mileage you can get out of. It does feel a little artificial at times. Like there's a maybe I'm just asking too much, but like at 103, like George and his wife or girlfriend, they just like walk in a circle basically. Because I don't know, they don't have very much to go. They're doing some kind of weird walking in lockstep or something, but I don't know. It is at some point you're aware that there's a lot of just like walking places. Like why? How many times can I see uh, Yoko and John walk out of that house before it's like, okay, this is like your big set piece is them walking out of a house. That's so
Yeah.
much. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking to try and avoid giving it a 5. Um, Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 5, just because there's
Jeez.
not much I can say that's bad about it. And if I,
Does it
and,
actually really transform your listening experience of the song though?
um,
Because that would be the other thing is I think like listening to the song by itself and watching it with the video, like the video is nice and certainly, but it's just not like it doesn't change how I see the song.
mm, yeah, I'm just thinking like, let me put it this way. I prefer Penny Lane if I had to just hear the song, but if I had to watch one of the videos and listen to the song, I would always watch something, even though I like the song less. So that it's at least a 4, but um. I've only given it 1.5. You've only given it 1.5 to Black Hole Sun after all of this.
Yeah, well, it's only been a few episodes. All
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll stick with a I'll stick with a 5,
right.
and I think I foresee a lot of decent videos in the 80s and 90s that I will give 4s to, and ones that really bump it up this much, um, I will reserve for 5s. So with that being said, I think we'll wrap it up there.
All right.
Next weekend, what did I say next weekend? It's not even the weekend right now. Uh, but next time we will be talking about. Uh, actually, you should just take this over. This is your area of
All
expertise.
right. So, our dear listeners, thank you for getting to this part of the podcast, blunders and all. Uh, Next episode, after this, we'll be doing internet celebrities making music part one, which we were thinking of doing all of them, and we realized, holy schmoly, there's a lot of internet celebrities who make music. Um,
Yeah, that was
so
a thought that was entirely confined to you, but you can. I'll allow you that creative license.
so, anyways, next episode is Internet Celebrities Make Music Part 1, starting, of course, with Filthy Frank and Joji. Um, and also, in a more unpleasant turn, Chris Chan. Look forward to that one.
Just to be clear, Filthy Frank and Joji, that's like George Harrison and Jesus Christ, like his alter ego.
Yeah, you could put it like that.
That's one's the devil and the other is the angel, and there's just no shoulders. It's just constant celestial battle. Um, cool. Yeah, so we'll be doing that part one out of indefinite, and you know what? I want to say just in closing here. I think besides my complete lack of knowledge about the Beatles, which I will say I don't actually know anything about them, and eventually we'll get to bands such as the Monks, and then I'll crush it with the trivia knowledge.
That's true.
But besides that, I think our podcast is pretty much as good as it's gonna be. I think we've reached our potential. There's no
We're about
room
to
for
plateau.
I would just say there's no more room for improvement. Like we just hit the top of the graph, and thus we must plateau because there is
Uh,
no more. We've run out of y-axis. So I think to just to keep the improvement train going, I think it's our marketing that can improve. So
our marketing.
I hereby pledge that within 2 weeks of any video being posted, any of our videos being posted, I will engage in intellectually stimulating debate with anyone who leaves a comment, specifically one that disagrees with me. Otherwise, our debate will be one of agreement. But if you even so much as dare to step to me, I'm smacking that hoe, as House of Pain says.
Yeah, you'll be like John McEnroe.
Thank you, thank you for the actual reference. And with that, bring it on. Your serve.